spend a little time hearing from students, student testimonial video. You will also a student testimonial video, as well as hearing from Gary Brand, who's an instructor at Grand Rapids Community College and somewhat of an expert on online learning environment here at GRCC. Gary's gonna demonstrate what an online class environment looks like here at Grand Rapids Community College. You're also gonna have a chance to answer questions from Jason Schuler, who is in our admissions department, David DeBoer, who is in our financial aid area, and Lene Selberg, who's an academic advisor. They're going to field questions that any of you may have as far as how to move forward. Gary will also be available to answer any questions about the online class environment. And we have a former stellar student, Mr. Raheem Jones, who'll give you a student perspective on being successful in online learning. Myself, my name is Raynard Ross. I'm the Associate Dean of Student Success and Retention here at GRCC. And my office is pledged to help you move forward in your pursuit of your academic credentials. And once we get back to campus, we're on the 3rd floor of the Student Center building, room 347. But again, right now, we're just going to spend a little time to help increase your confidence on how you can be successful at GRCC in our current online learning environment. So first up is a video, again, from student testimonials who have been successful taking online class at CC, and here's some suggestions and recommendations on how you can do the same. Thank you.
Overall, it's been a great experience. I had 2 phenomenal teachers that changed my experience of online learning. These teachers went above and beyond and made videos to get to know the professor. You know, you don't put a face with a name if you don't know them. You know, you can go to rateyourprofessor.com or something and hope for a picture and know who you're working with, but otherwise you don't get to know their personality or kind of what they want from you as an individual. And I think both my teachers really did that this year.
I liked it. I think the professors are very good. You can tell that they have refined their classes to make them work.
They have stuff due at the end of the week, so you can pace yourself. So you can say, I can get assignment 1 due or done tonight, and then have it done for the rest of the week, and then work on the rest of them later.
I'm a single mom to 2 wonderful girls, and I also work full-time. It was the best way to get what I needed to get done. Make sure to stay on top of the classwork. Just because it's an online class and you don't see the professor's face every week does not mean that you don't have just as much work, if not more work. Do not wait until the last minute to get stuff done.
Definitely do your reading and pay attention to the deadlines. I had a lot of issue with that. Definitely know what's due when. That's a big thing.
I would say make sure you check your school email every day and Blackboard. Try to stay connected even though you're not on campus. Just try to stay motivated.
I had expectations to kind of have an easy semester, but I also had phenomenal teachers this semester that made my online learning a lot easier. But if you're not gonna commit to it and you don't ask around, you don't see the type of class that you're gonna look into, and then you just go into a full forest, it's gonna be a lot more than what you expected, I think.
Maintain a schedule. It's really easy when you're online to say, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes and you don't feel like doing it. So, kind of make a class setting for myself.
Definitely time management is a big one, and keeping up with every assignment and making sure that everything is ready to go and before it's due.
You're given a little bit more responsibility with an online class in terms of this is the work that's due, you have this long to do it, and you need to find the time to get it done. That doesn't mean that you're flying solo on this. You still have a professor, you still have other classmates that are out there to help you.
So there you had some key insights from students who've been successful in our environment. I think one of the biggest takeaways really is the time management issue and putting oneself on a schedule. And aside from that, really our online learning environment is just as robust as most of our classroom environments. And but I guess to give you a little bit insight on how to navigate our online classes, again, Professor Gary Brand is going to take you through a demonstration. Gary is an instructor in our business department, but he's going to use some content that helps all students as they transition into online learning. It's our online learning overview that most students are going to be expected to review prior to moving forward in online classes. But again, Gary's an instructor in business and again, very active and has led the way in a lot of initiatives at GRCC when it comes to online learning. So please, Gary, go ahead and lead us forward.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do is kind of take us into a course and walk through some things. Stop me at any time if you want to see something. This is a typical online course. We have our online courses in Blackboard. This one's Introduction to Distance Learning at GRCC. When you come into a course, you're going to see an announcement. Usually at the start of the course, it's a welcome with some information about what you need to do to get started. In this case, the criteria for completing the course, and then a course link that takes you into the first set of assignments or module in this case. If you go into the modules, they're usually set up this way. There's some kind of introduction, kind of introduces you to the topic, maybe connect you to some prior learning, list what the outcomes are, and any deadlines that you have. Often our deadlines are do activities during the week. It's what they call asynchronous, meaning you do the work when you can, your instructor's online when they can be online, and then there's some deadline that you have to have all your work finished by. So we've got a list of assignments here. This is pretty common in terms of watching a video, which this video would probably look familiar to that you just saw it. Students talking honestly about their good and bad experiences online, and there will be some kind of usually mark review button. Like here we've got click the button indicating that you watched it, and it turns to reviewed. And then there might be some reading that you have to do. Usually modules have some kind of activity, which is a practice that you do before you have an assessment of some kind. So in this case, this is a syllabus activity, and it just walks you through the things that you need to know about an online course syllabus, questions that you might ask. And I think these are great ones, you know, as we talk about online learning at GRCC to think about right up front. How do you contact a professor? How do you earn a grade in an online class? What's the textbook? How can I get it? When are grades posted? Those type of things are important things in all of our online courses. But you can navigate pretty simply around in the module. It asks you to return to the module, and then often there's some kind of discussion that's going on. And I know that's a question that students often have of me. Does that mean I have to be online at a certain time in order to talk to my professor or talk to my classmates? And in most of our online courses, it's again asynchronous, which means you post when you can and someone would reply to you when they can. And there's a thread of discussion that you can follow. This one is an assessment over common myths that you see in online classes. And in this case, it's after you watch the video, after you do the reading and complete the activity, you should be able to do that assessment. And then it takes you into the next module, kind of the same format. So that's kind of how you walk through the different modules. And you accessed all that right from the announcement area. The menus over here on the left. You know, if I were starting an online course, I'd want to know how to contact my instructor. So you'll see that under contacts. Often there's a picture of the instructor and some contact information, where their office is, how to get a hold of them by email or by phone. I was mentioning discussions, so this is a link that takes you into the discussion board, and you'll often see forums. And then if you go into the forum, these are called threads. So you kind of think of it like discussion board is the building, the forum is the classroom, and then these threads within it are conversations that students are having with their instructor, with each other, in the online format. Before I go on, am I going too fast? Have I been muted the whole time? Any questions? All right. So obviously getting your grade is important. Just clicking on grades, checking that frequently. One thing I advise my students is when you do an assessment, post some kind of assignment, that you go in and you look at your grade book and ensure that it's been submitted and that it either needs grading or has some type of score, not to wait after the deadline to go check to see if your work was submitted. Resources for the course, in this case, there's resources around detecting what technology you have, what you'll need for an online course, whether you're ready for an online course, and some other samples and support. And then the syllabus, which is usually what I say is one of the first things to take a look at. So in addition to knowing who your instructor is and how to get a hold of them, what are the course policies? What are the institutional policies? The syllabus is a really good place to start. In a lot of cases, instructors will open up the course early and give you access to their own orientation about their course so that you can get in there and look at that syllabus and ask any questions. So that was a real quick whirlwind tour. I'm going to stop sharing here and say, any questions? Well, that was a lot to cover.
Yes, I don't know. Are we back live again? I believe so, yes. So thank you, Gary, very much though for that overview. This is definitely the time for questions. So if folks weren't sure how to provide their questions prior to you getting started, there's a chat feature that folks can utilize. Also within the announcement for this, within that announcement, there's a phone number that you can text to. That'll go to Ms. Tony Harrington, who's also gonna share any questions that you have with either our academic advisor, our student Raheen, Gary as an instructor, or our financial aid person, David, or again, Jason in our admissions office. So you can text to that phone number. She is immediately responsive to that. And again, there is a chat feature as well via YouTube. So any question that you have, you can go ahead and supply those at this time. And again, any of those areas. And I guess for the time being, Tony, did you have anything come through yet? Or did you have anything maybe to get the conversation started?
Sure. I think probably the immediate question would be, what next? If I want to apply for admission at GRCC, what steps do I need to take and what department should I talk to? And Jason, I think this is probably a good one for you.
Yep. Thank you, Tony. That would be the admissions and enrollment department. So you would apply to GRCC, which you can do on our website, and then you'd want to send us your official high school transcripts. If you've taken the SAT or ACT, certainly send that to us too. If you've taken any college classes anywhere, you'd want to send those transcripts as well. On our admissions enrollment page, if you have not taken the SAT or ACT, you can do the placement test from home right now. My contact information is on the top of our placement page. So get in touch with me and I'll be able to set it up for you to apply, or excuse me, to test remotely from home. Orientation comes next, advising, but just take it one step at a time would be applying and sending any transcripts and test scores you have to the college.
Jason, are there deadlines attached with when students need to apply by?
We don't have an exact hard deadline, but I wouldn't wait until the last minute. Classes fill up. It might be hard to work around your schedule, especially for financial aid purposes. You really want to get a jump on it. Now is a great time to apply for the fall semester. As long as the class is still open, yes, we are an open enrollment college, so you could even start the first day of classes. Certainly wouldn't recommend that. We just say the sooner the better.
That's great. Thank you so much. And David, I'm coming to you next. So now that I know I want to go to school and I've been accepted, how do I get financial aid to help me pay for school? And what is the role of financial aid?
Probably the best thing that you can do is give us a call. Go to the grcc.edu website. You can search for financial aid and find our phone number and call us. The phone number is 616-234-4030, 234-4030. Call us and we can walk you through the financial aid process. Students would fill out the federal government form called the FAFSA. It's a free application, it's an online application, and we can help you through that process to make sure that you get it filled out well and that it does come to GRCC. As Jason said, we can process it fairly quickly, but the earlier the better, just because it's nice to get the paperwork out of the way. And so that you can focus on getting your books, you can focus on getting ready for classes. You don't want to be worried about financial aid, right as you start a class. So you could fill out the FAFSA today, even as soon as this event is done, and we will receive it from the federal government probably within about a week, and you'll be hearing from us shortly after that.
Excellent. And that leads into my next question. Can you explain a little bit, can financial aid be used to buy textbooks or any other supplies I might need for class? Is it just for tuition?
Yes, to answer your question, it can be used for all of that. It can be used for tuition, it can be used for textbooks, other supplies, and a lot depends on what type of aid you're eligible for. Sometimes students will take out student loans, and loans can be used to even assist you with transportation needs. But primarily for textbooks, tuition, any related fees, all of that can be covered through financial aid.
Excellent. That's good to know. I have options to help me out. Thank you. Okay, so now that I know how to apply and how to help get funding, how should I know what classes to take? Lene, can you explain a little bit what advising does and the role of advisors?
So we are meeting with students from home, be via phone or Zoom appointments, whatever you would prefer. And we will help you identify, based on what your goals are, what would be great classes for you to take. We'll talk with you about how to manage classes in an online environment. I know I've personally had a lot of questions from students about the new and different learning environments that are available for students. So we still have some classes in the fall that are actually face-to-face. We have some classes that are more traditional online, more of an asynchronous environment. But we also have a new thing called virtual classroom. And these are actually classes where there's a scheduled day and time where you're going to log on with everybody else in your class and work with your professor through your class work. So there's multiple different options, and we can help you look at what might be best for you, what might be a great combination of classes based on everything that you're wanting to do and that you have going on in your life. And more importantly, if you plan to transfer, we can help you develop a transfer plan to make sure that you're strategically picking the classes to help you as you move on to your four-year institution.
That's great information. I think oftentimes students wonder when the best time to visit an advisor is, and it sounds like early.
It's never too early. Yep, never too early.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lene. Raheen, I was going to ask, do you have advice for students that maybe are just now transitioning to an online learning environment? Do you have some pro tips that you could share with us?
Oh, tits. The most important thing I can stress to you is that even though it's an online environment, you still have to make the commitment to learn and to transition into a virtual or distance learning. You still have to do the work. You still have to do the reading. Like the girl in the video said, you still have to commit. You have to make the commitment. Also, I wanted to say about the financial aid. When I decided to come back, I was no longer eligible for financial aid. So one of the things that I used was the FAXT program, where you can make monthly payments on your tuition instead of paying it all in one lump sum, to help you alleviate the stress of trying to come up with the money right away. It allows you to make 2 and 3 monthly payments as you go, and you don't have to take out huge loans, or you don't have to take out, you don't have to stress about trying to pay for your class that way. The FAXT program is an excellent option. And another option, I want to talk about what Lene was talking about. Once you find out what your major is going to be, for me, there was options where I could, the program that I wanted to go into at Ferris or at Davenport, they have the 3-in-1 program, where you do the 3 years at CC and then you do your last year at another university, which helps you save money in the long run, and your financial aid will still apply in that 3rd year. So that takes the stress off of trying to pay for classes, trying to, after you thinking about where you want to go after you leave CC and what those options are going to be. The 3-in-1 programs, based on what you want to do, some of the options are pretty good options going forward.
That's some great advice, especially bringing up the fact that there are options beyond financial aid that help you take the pressure off of paying for school all at once. Your advice in looking in the programs that directly cooperate with GRCC that can allow you to take the majority of your classes for your bachelor's degree at CC. That's excellent. Thank you, Raheem. Gary, I'm curious, as an instructor, do you have some wisdom that you would like to share with students, something that you kind of wish all students knew going into their classes? I know it's come up before that a lot of the answers are still in the syllabus, and that that's a great resource to reference.
Yeah, I'd say some of my best students are good time managers. I mean, I think it's difficult when you've got so many things going to remember that you need to check into your online course. So being able to manage your time, being organized, I think is really helpful. But also kind of on the personal side, reaching out to your instructor and introducing yourself and asking any questions that you have. I think that's important too.
That's great. Thank you so much. So I'm thinking about some of the resources that are offered at GRCC that students may not be aware of. Does anybody want to share kind of maybe your little known resource that has helped out students? I know that tutoring services is something that often students don't realize are available, especially in this environment where we can still do remote services. Does anyone want to share?
Yeah, a couple things I'd like to let folks know that, again, tutoring, just as you mentioned, is still available during our online environment, probably even more readily available, really, because you can drop in, go to any of the web pages for any of the different tutoring labs. If you go to our web page and just Google academic support, you will get links to all the different locations that we offer tutoring, all the subject-based areas. And then there's also a link there to join their online tutoring environment, in which a tutor will meet you in a virtual environment, do some screen sharing with you as needed, really just be engaged with you just as they would in a face-to-face tutoring session. So tutoring is available pretty much 7 days a week, but the hours for each location are on the individual web pages, so easy to find. Also, library supports. Now, right now, of course, actually going to the library physically is not possible. However, the assistance that you can get for research projects with librarians. That service is available online. So if you have any research that you need to do, if you go to the library's webpage, there's a chat feature to engage with a librarian in real time to help you navigate the different search tools that the library offers on this webpage and find the resources you need to research anything that you would do in a traditional face-to-face environment. So those things are definitely still available, and we definitely want to make sure students utilize those just as they would if they were coming to campus.
And
another thing,
nope,
sorry.
Go ahead, Lene.
I was just going to say, for students who might have a documented disability or need accommodations, Disability Support Services is still available to assist you virtually as well and help you get those accommodations in place so that you can be successful in your classes. So know that most of the resources and most of the student support services that you see on the website, you can access virtually. And if you're not sure how, just contact one of us in advising and we can help you get connected to the resource.
And then I'll add, from a financial aid perspective, one of the resources we've already implemented, but is really available for this fall semester for students, is an app that's on your phone. So once you complete your FAFSA, and we'll give you information as to how to get access, get a login to that app. And so if you do have additional paperwork, or if there's any additional process or forms that need to be completed as part of your financial aid, you'll be able to do that right from your phone. If there's a document that needs to be submitted, you can take a picture of it and upload it securely. If you're a dependent student, you need information from your parents would also be able to submit information that way. Makes it a whole lot easier for you, and we'll get the information much quicker as well.
That's excellent. It's always good to know about resources that we have in our hands that are readily available. And I think that kind of goes into one of my questions here about, like, if I haven't been a student for a while, Jason, from an admissions side, what would it take to come back to GRCC to learn?
If you've applied to the college at any point, you don't have to reapply again. Once the campus opens up again, we certainly would encourage you to come to the enrollment center, where we can kind of see where we're at in the application process. If you completed it, if you had taken classes before, what does it take to start back up, get all your online access available to you again. And then we probably encourage you to meet with an academic advisor. If you've had college credits again from another college, you want to transfer those in. But I would certainly encourage you to call our admissions office.
Excellent. And just a follow-up question to that, so if I'm a new student coming to GRCC, can I do most of the things that I need to do virtually? Am I going to have to come on campus?
Correct. Right now, you can do just about anything you need to do remotely or online. We still have our call center open, so you can get a hold of someone. We are still doing one-on-one appointments through Zoom meetings with students. So you can still actually get a person if you have more in-depth questions or you're just not sure what to study. So don't hesitate to call our admissions office, and certainly don't hesitate to make an appointment to meet with someone virtually to go over your career options.
Thank you, Jason. That's good information to have. Does anyone have anything that they would like to share, that they would like to make sure students are aware of?
Well, I think in general, I think we just want students to know that everyone that you've engaged with this afternoon, as well as hundreds, if not thousands of other people at GRCC, are committed to helping you to be successful. And again, there are abundant resources to help you, figure out what exactly you may want to pursue as a career if you're uncertain. We didn't get into our career counseling services or our career advising services, but literally if you have any desire to make any changes from a career perspective or to make any pursuits academically, GRCC is a great place to start. And again, the purpose of this was just to help everyone understand that in this online environment, full services are still available, and to help people understand the basics on how to navigate our online classroom piece. So again, this was just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to discuss further, again, you can go to that chat feature or that email. You can send Tony your personal information, phone number, name, email and name, whatever you choose to do, and she'll follow up individually to help connect you with the right person to help you get the ball rolling in any capacity that we may have shared today. So yeah, I guess, do we have any other questions in the chat? I guess if not, we could maybe, all right, well, if we have no other questions in the chat, if there's something again that you may want to follow up on, go ahead and jot that phone number down, and it'll be available not just during this time, but we can respond to questions and follow up with anything even at a later time today, tomorrow, whatever the case may be. So thank you for joining us. And if we don't have any closing words from anyone, I guess we will just thank folks for being here and move forward our day. All right, excellent. Well, thanks a lot, folks. Take care. Goodbye.
Yeah, we all done?
Yeah.
Okay.
All done?
You want to say hi? You say hi to Mr. Renard.
Hi.
What's going on, Sully? How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good.
Trying to talk and look in the camera with he's got his Batman mask on the whole time.